Okay, so this is one of those car talk Thursdays, room talk Thursdays where I record it the night before just for scheduling purposes. As I was trying to do my NFL like review video and I'm like, man, I just like don't feel like I have the energy to talk about football right now. It's like I want to, and I'm looking at some of my notes. I'm like, there is some like really cool, exciting fucking shit that happened in some of these games, but I feel like mentally fried to get hyped enough for football. But these videos, just depending on the subject matter, can be really, like me getting really fired up about shit, or something that's a lot more low key, something a lot more like vibey, I guess. So I'm just gonna record this one so I have time to do that other one tomorrow. Because boy, my schedule got like super fucked up. And I guess I'll go and talk about why. Sorry, I'm that tired. I had like a couple thoughts go on at once. I had a fucking brain blast from Jimmy Neutron. I was like, oh, I have to talk about this. And then my brain just fucking was buffering. So, what I was going to say is this is also an October in review video. It's not just going to be like going over the week, although I do want to talk about what happened yesterday because it was Halloween. I have something to say about it. Excuse me. But it is October in review because I forgot to do that last week because last week was Patience Week, which was weird. And I was like, I have to talk about this week in particular, and I was kind of looking forward to talking about it that I completely forgot it was the last Thursday of October. Fucking whoops. But yesterday we had a Halloween party, had a bunch of fun, had a great time, saw some friends. Some of them I haven't actually seen in quite a bit, so it was really nice to hang out with them. I posted the pumpkin cake that Clay baked. It was fucking delicious. There's still quite a bit left. He made a ham. He had said originally that he was going to carve the ham to look like a jack-o'-lantern, and I was really looking forward to it, but he didn't have time for it, which completely fucking fair. Dude, like, did so much cooking, so much baking. I'm like, but you piece of shit, you didn't actually carve the ham into a pumpkin face. Like, no, asshole. Like, he did so much work. Don't be a piece of shit, you know? It was great. Shout out to him. But, I was entertaining guests until 6 a.m., and then I woke up this morning at like 10:45. So I've all day have just been running on very little sleep. So I'm very tired. It's why I didn't get the like other NFL video out. It's why I don't really feel like I have the energy to be like, let's talk about football right now. I'm like, I should have been in bed 12 hours ago. But I do want to talk about October. October was a shit show, but not in the same way as September. Like, September was, like, in terms of just, like, media consumption, was annoying and kind of frustrating. And then with some of the real life shit that happened, I was like, oh, this is, like, really, really bad. October was a shit show, but in a funny way. Again, like, Patience Week, where it's like, patience tested, patience tested, patience tested. Okay, this is genuinely kind of funny. I'm on board with this. There's also the fact that oh, what the fuck was I about to say? There wasn't even a brain blast there. I think I just lost brain cells. Um Fuck. I was talking about Patience Week and how that was funny. Okay, I think it was just like, oh, I remember what I was gonna say now. One of the big reasons it was a shit show was pretty much just Kuroto. How disappointing it was for me and how long it took to finish it. Because September was all about, like, look, if I don't like this, I'm going to drop it and move on. Because I have a lot of things I wanted to get to by the end of the year. And as the year went on, there were some things that I didn't know existed that got added onto the list. Shout out to the Lunar Games. I really, really, really loved the Lunar Games. Oh, they're so good. Anyways, it's like, this is part of a series that I follow where it is serialized, not like Final Fantasy where I can like really skip a game. So I had to play it, so I know what happens, and I still need to do the post game. I really don't want to do, but I know I'm gonna at some point. It's like I can't just drop it. I was like fucking held hostage by this game. And it really did. And granted, like another one of the reasons I didn't get to other things as much as I wanted was my own fault. I could have held off on Kuro too, and even still, I could have been like, I'm still gonna make sure to do some other stuff. But fuck, that game was a shit show, and it fucked up my entire schedule. But in addition to Kuro 2, I've played the majority of the first Bioshock, which I'm not going to play the sequels. I have no interest in Bioshock 2, and I've already played Infinite. Like, that was years ago, and I don't really plan on replaying it. I fucking loved it, though. I'm at Hephaestus in Bioshock. Like, I'm like a few fights or whatever away from Andrew Ryan. Like, I'm on the way to Ryan, and I've like gotta go here to do some shit, here to do some shit, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm gonna do that scene very soon, hopefully tomorrow, and I'm very excited for it. I played about half of Mario Wonder with my friend, like with a group of friends. My friend who owns the game finished it, and now he's basically he's letting my household borrow it because we all have different Switches. I replayed the first world today. I don't think I'm gonna 100% the game, but I do want to I want to beat the game. I want to try to do like every level and shit. I know there's a secret world, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, the shit in like the last couple levels, like the game overall is pretty easy. Those last couple levels are hard as fuck, and I loved it. And I'm like, I can't really say that's exciting. Because like, I'm bad at 2D platformers. Like, I'm really, really bad at 2D platformers. So him being like, dude, this endgame shit is hard. I'm like, I want to try it, but I know I'm not going to beat it. But I do want to see it, you know? It's like, I want to give it a good faith effort. Because even though I'm dog shit at 2D platformers, I like 2D platformers. I think they're really cool. I mean, at least some of the ones I played. Like, I love Mario games. I'm bad at them, but I love them. Celeste, you've heard me talk about. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not good at it, but I love it. So I think in terms of video games, that's about it. In terms of reading, so I did finish Dune. I probably need to do a video on Dune. Like, I feel like I liked it enough that I would. I didn't take a lot of notes as I was reading, which is something I like really did with the Mistborn books and like Fate and shit. Like most of the things I've been doing, or like when I'm consuming Medium, like I'm taking notes on it so I could talk about it later and like kind of revisit some of my earlier thoughts. I just did it with Dune. And it's not even because I'm like, there's like nothing to take notes on. I'm like, no, there's so much interesting shit to take notes on. I just didn't. So I should do a video. Maybe I won't, but in case I don't, the book's great. I loved it. I'm interested in the rest of the series, but I don't feel like I'm in a rush to. Like when I finished reading The Final Empire, my reaction was, I feel like this book can kind of work as a standalone, but there is some setup for the sequels. But I loved it so fucking much. I'm so invested. I have to read the rest. And then, well, we know how that happened. With Dune, this is not a standalone book. This is very clearly setting up other shit. But I feel more satisfied just reading the first Dune. I don't know why. That makes literally no sense. I'm like, I think it really is just because, like, with Mistborn, I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Show me something cool, and it did, and I wanted more cool shit. With Dune, it was, I want to read the first book because I know it's a classic. I know it's one of those, it's like, it's important. It was kind of like Fate Stay Night, where like completely different genres and mediums as well, but it's like, this is a bucket list reading item. I need to read Fate Stay Night. I need to read the first Dune. After that, it's like, cool. I still haven't read Fate Hollow. I'm interested in Fate Hollow. I don't think I'm going to be getting to it this year, but I'm interested in checking it out, but I don't feel like I need to read it. I kind of feel the same thing with the Dune sequels. I'd be down to read it. I've heard they're great. I've heard it's like some crazy shit. I don't need to, though, and I'll take that. there's another reading project that I did. It was over the weekend, actually. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I read a visual novel. I'm not gonna say what it is. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Because I'm doing a video. I took a lot of notes on it. Like, I'm really, really excited to talk about it. I plan on doing it this week. I probably won't do it tomorrow. I'm thinking either Friday or Saturday. So, I don't know, it's kind of fun to actually kind of hype something up, because, like, I didn't even know this thing existed when I did my, like, last room talk video. So I was just like, oh shit, like, this completely sprung up on me. I'm gonna spring it on my viewers. Like, this is kind of fun. I can't wait to talk about this crazy shit. So there's that. I guess there's a surprise video to look forward to in a couple days. Um, I got, like, nothing done in terms of writing, and that's on me. That really sucks. I got a little bit done of, like, that one chapter of the manuscript. It was fun. I was enjoying it, but I just didn't get a lot done. And then the VN script I just, like, haven't touched. But I know in, like, a couple days I'm gonna be getting the rough sketch for the character design of the main character, and I feel like that's gonna do good shit for me. Like, I'm gonna see him and go, like, I now feel energized. Like, I am going to finish writing, I guess editing. It's like, I'm gonna finish editing your fucking story. I am hyped. I am excited. Now that I've seen you, I'm blah, 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 blah. I don't know, that my mood can be like that. Like, the weather on, I think it was Saturday and Sunday, it was super gray, gloomy, rainy, cold, and I was just miserable. It's not even like a bad shit happened. I was just like, dude, like, I feel so low energy. I am so fucking miserable. I am easily influenced by outside forces. So I really do think, like, when I see my character, I'm like, yes, I've got this now. Let's fucking go. Nothing's going to stop me except for me. In terms of movies, I saw Killers of the Flower Moon, and I had made a post. I was like, I just didn't feel passionate enough to really talk about it. I think I said it in the post. It's like, I think the movie is very well made, but it's so aggressively unpleasant that I didn't really enjoy it. I can enjoy the craft of the film, and there's definitely some scenes here and there. Like, there's a scene where I won't give context. I think it's funnier without. It's still funny in context, where Leonardo DiCaprio is, like, bent over, and Robert De Niro was spanking him with a paddle. Yes, this is a real scene that happens. It makes sense in context, which feels weird to say given what I just described, but it's true. There is a lot of goofy, funny shit in the movie. It's like, it's not just like 3.5 hours of pure unpleasantness, but even then I'm like, I don't know, Chief. I don't like watching this, or like knowing where this is going. I don't want to see this, but it is very well made and it is very well told. And then, yeah, I fucking watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I had a great time with it. I don't think it's perfect. There are some aspects where I'm like, I wish you would handle this element like this, or this element like this, but this thing that you did I think is really cool. I love the look. I love actually seeing the animatronics. I think they look great. I would recommend seeing both movies, but I feel like the FNAF movie, I can be like, look, it's an hour and a half. If you have Peacock, you can just watch it on streaming. Just, like, go see it. Have a good time. With Killers of the Flower Moon, like, this is a 3.5 hour movie. Make sure you know what you're getting into, kind of thing. But I would still give it more of, like, a general recommendation. It's not like Beau is Afraid, where I'm like, this is a 3-hour bad acid trip, and I hate myself for being here. In terms of shows, actually quite a few. So I've been watching Freyrun, or as I keep calling it, the Elf Show, and I love Elf Show. Elf Show is great. Clay and I have started Adventure Time. We're about halfway through season 1. I like it. I don't quite love it. I feel like my vibe on Adventure Time is I enjoy the creativity, like I enjoy the visuals. I think the character writing is pretty fun, although sometimes I'm like, that joke's not really working. Like there's a very juvenile sense of humor that either really works or really doesn't. And I feel like for the most part it works enough. I just don't always get into it. For the most part, I think it's fine. But I'm watching it and I'm like, this is pretty good. When does it get great? Because I know it does. I've seen some of the later shit where I'm like, oh, it's gotten great. I don't want to be that guy where I'm like, yeah, like the comedy is fine, but it's not actually something like a great work of art unless it has drama or anything. Because I think that's bullshit. Like again, one of my favorite anime of all time is a comedy. It's Little Witch Academia. And it does do some more of the kind of like dramatic story shit later as it goes on, and I do think it does it very well, and it's very well handled, but I love it primarily for being a comedy. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Again, tired. Brain stopped working. Let me check my notes. What the fuck was I talking about? Adventure Time. Okay. But I'm still enjoying Adventure Time. Very much looking forward to seeing some of the later shit. Watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Great shit. I liked it a lot, and I feel like I definitely like it more the more time I've had to kind of like sit and think about it and ruminate on it. I left feeling very positive. I tried watching. Excuse me. I tried watching the new Gendy. Is it Tarkovsky? Is that his last name, or is that the guy that composed Swan Lake? I might have completely fucked that up, but it's Unicorn Warriors Eternal. I've watched 4 episodes out of 10, and I don't think I'm gonna watch any more. I don't think it's like bad. I don't hate it, and I think there's some good ideas. And like the fight scene in the first few minutes of episode 4 was like really cool. But I also just feel for the most part really ambivalent. I'm like, this is all right, but I don't feel much of a connection to what I'm watching or to the characters. Again, like I don't hate them. I guess like this should work. For some reason though, it's just not clicking with me. So I'm just kind of gonna move on and watch something else. Survivor's been great. Oh gosh, like tonight's episode was really, really good. I'm looking forward to talking about that in Chucky tomorrow, which I haven't seen Chucky yet. I'm what I've been trying to do, since now Survivor is 90 minutes, I can't just watch them back to back because the last half of Survivor interferes with the first half of Chucky. I'm like, I've got Peacock. I'm just gonna stream Chucky tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to watching that and doing a video. And of course, like I've been watching the NFL, and I love watching football, and I love talking about football, except not when I'm super fucking sleep deprived, apparently. So that feels like that was October. So now that we are in November, it is November 1st, and this will be uploaded November 2nd, so it's actually on Thursday, even if I just wait an hour or so it's after midnight. Looking ahead to November, I think my set of goals, because we're getting to the end of the year, there's still a decent amount of stuff on my list. A lot of it is shit that got added as the year went on, like Fate Samurai Remnant. This looks cool as shit. Had no idea this existed until like August maybe, so it wasn't on the list. But I feel like when it comes to reading projects, I'm good on books. I have a few that I'm like, I want to read this, but I'm not going to do this until like next year. ReZero is one of those. East of Eden is one of those, because Jose read it and he's like, this might be my favorite book of all time now. I love it. The Witcher books, I'm interested in like looking through some of them. The Dune sequels, potentially. And I think it's like This Is How You Lose the Time War is something I heard about. It's like, this sounds actually like kind of cool and kind of interesting. I want to pick it up. So I think I'm good on books for now. Those are some I'm looking forward to next year. In terms of manga, around this time last year, I had said my number one thing for 2023 is reading One Piece, and I have read 0 One Piece all fucking year. So I guess I'm going to do that 2024. Because I will also really want to read Monster, because I wanted to read that for a very long time. And Dora Hedora, I think that's how it's called, what it's called and how it's pronounced. Because I have a couple friends who liked it, or read it and really, really liked it. So I wanted to read both of those. I've read like 4 maybe chapters of Monster. I'm very, very, very early, but I would like to read through Monster and Dora Hedora before the end of the year, and then pick back up on One Piece, because I had finished Alabasta. In terms of VNs, I have a pretty lengthy list, and this is pure reading VN. So, like, I don't count AI2, even, like, it's a VN, but for me, there's enough game in here for me to just classify it fully under a video game. Like, Fate Hollow was on the list, but I don't think I'm going to read it this year. I really wanted to read Higurashi, but I'm also like, I don't know how much I do want to read Higurashi. Like, I love the anime. Like, it's sincerely one of my favorites. And that's kind of the thing. Like, on the one hand, I'm like, I really want to read it because I love the adaptation. I should get into the source material. And I very clearly loved his other work with Sea Cats. But there's also that part of me that's just kind of like, I love the anime so much, I think I'm good. Like, I don't really need to read the VN. I'm still kind of interested in it, but I don't know if it's as big of a priority as some others. A friend recommended Fata Morgana. Is it Fata Morgana or Fata Morgana? I'm not sure. Recommended that to me. I'm very interested in at least giving it a shot. There might be like another 1 or 2 I'm forgetting that's also on my list, but the big one for me that's still on my list is finally fucking reading Clannad, which kind of is the same thing with Higurashi. Like, this is one of my favorite anime. I love it. I don't know why, like, I think for me the thing I really want to read with Clannad is, I think it's because with Higgs, it is like, this is just a continuous story, although it is definitely in different routes. But like, it is a sound novel. It is a linear, or is linear the word I want? I think linear is the word I want. It's like static. Like, there's not a lot of choices. So there's not a lot to really influence. There's a lot to influence in Clannad, and I know there are just some routes that aren't in the anime or like very condensed in the anime, and I really like these people. So, like, getting to read their full stories, I think I'm gonna like that a lot. There's this one scene in the anime, like, it makes me cry. I can't say every time, because somehow I did not cry the first time. But I'm ready to get to it in the VN, and it's gonna fuck me up. So that's reading. In terms of movies, I think I'm probably gonna go see Napoleon, because I have like a group of friends that will probably go see it. Excuse me. I know Clay and I are gonna go see Trolls 3 at some point. Oh yeah, there's like a new Chicken Run movie that's out, which I think I need to watch, like, to be caught up on DreamWorks. Fucking whoops, I guess. I don't think there's anything else in terms of movies that I'm gonna watch. In terms of shows, there's a one-core anime. I don't remember what it's called. It's like Heaven's Delusion or something. It was something that had like popped up on my feed somewhere like several months ago, and I was like, hey, that looks kind of cool, so I want to check it out. Continue watching Pokemon Horizons. I really like Pokemon Horizons. And at some point, I'm going to start Mobile Suit Gundam. I guess that's more of a movie thing, because I'm going to watch the movies, like the recap films, because from what I understand, yes, it is a condensed version of the story, but it's not really leaving much out. Like, it's, if you choose to watch the movie over the show, no one's really gonna judge you for it. It's like, you're still getting the story of OG MSG. So I think I'll just probably do that to save on time, because I'm watching Witch from Mercury, I'm like, I'm really interested in getting into more Gundam. In terms of games, Bioshock, Wonder, OG Klonoa, because I've been interested in that for a really long time. And then Xenosaga 2 and 3 are my big ones. Aside from that, like if I have time, probably Somnium 2. If I get a chance to get Samurai Remnant, I would like to do that as well. And then when the Indigo Disc comes out, like it's fucking Pokemon, of course I'm gonna play that. I feel like those are my big ones. I will say when it comes to Xenosaga, I really liked the first game. I know in like my review of it, I was kind of middle of the road. I was like, there's some things about like there's elements of the game that are like really good, but here's also why there's problems with it and shit. It is one of those games like that was my thought after finishing it, and I stand by a lot of my criticisms. But my initial gut feeling now, whenever I think of Xenosaga 1, is very positive. And honestly, same for Tales of the Abyss. Like, I know I said a lot of shit about Tales of the Abyss, and again, I basically meant everything I said. But I feel like when I'm looking back on it, I'm like, there's a lot of problems with this game. But I feel very fond of it and very affectionate with it. Like, I get why people really like Abyss. It's not my favorite. Symphonia exists, and even if Symphonia didn't exist, I still have Berseria, and I still have Vesperia. But I will say, I think Abyss has a way better story than Vesperia. I do think Vesperia's story is very messy and unfocused for a lot of it, but I still like it a lot. Abyss does have a really good story. It just takes way too long to get going, and I don't like the main antagonist. But regardless, those are the games I like really want to finish. With Xenosaga, because that's where I was going with this again. Sorry, I know I tend to go on tangents and shit anyways. Being tired does not help. My understanding is that Xenosaga 2 is dog shit. And Xenosaga 3 is the best of the trilogy. And Xenosaga 2 is kind of like Kuro 2, and that shit happens, but it's really fillery. I'm going to play it. I'm going to give it a good faith effort. But if I play it for like a good few hours, I'm like, look, I don't like it. I don't like the new art style. I don't like the new voices. I don't like the revamped gameplay because I really, really like the gameplay system in Xenosaga 1. I have my problems with some of it. I have a lot of problems with the boss designs. But the actual turn-based combat and like using the like understanding the system, how to really maximize your turns and shit, is so fucking fun in that game. It's really different in 2. And from the little bit I played, because I did the prologue, it's like, this ain't it. Maybe from playing it more, I'd be like, okay, I figured it out. Like, I've gotten into it. It's not as good as the first game, but it's still a fun system in its own right. But if I'm like, I don't like the visuals, I don't like the voice acting, I don't like the way gameplay feels, I will drop it and just move on to 3 and be like, what the fuck happens in this game so I can skip it? Because I don't want to do another Kuro 2. I really, really don't. And from what I understand, Xenosaga 2 is kind of skippable. I don't want to if I don't have to. But if I gotta, I'm gonna do it, you know? And then I'm really looking forward to playing Xenosaga 3. So I would say that's not necessarily just like this is all for November. This is like for November and December, like the last couple months. These are the things I like really want to focus on. And then again, like if I can get writing done as well, that would be fucking great. If I could send out more query letters, that would be fucking great. I think that's it. So sorry, I thought I was gonna burp again. Like I can feel something like burbling right here. Oh, I didn't like that word. It's like moist. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this here. I'm gonna go sleep, and I have to get up early tomorrow, which fucking sucks. But hopefully, I could actually sleep, feel rested, and have energy for my football video tomorrow. I think that's it. Happy belated Halloween, which I also said in the Spirited Away video. But happy Halloween. Have a happy November.